Welcome, intrepid viewers. Welcome also to any new viewers. So just so you know, new viewers, I read on Trump, not in a fair and balanced manner at all. I come from the position and consider him to be a complete and utter card-carrying, self-serving bastard. So as long as we're perfectly clear on that, we'll move on. So my question today is he actually regressing? I mean, after that childish taunt on Adam Schiff, and then skiting about Mueller's questions, and they were really simple, and he answered them himself. So, presuming he can tie his own shoelaces, that is possibly the most singly stupid thing a US president has ever said or done. Really? You're proud of that, Donald? So you are tied to whatever is in that. And don't you reckon he would have just put no to all the questions? That'll show Mueller. That'll fool him. Yeah, awesome. So he's onto it. Sharp as a bowling ball, as we know. All right, so today's question. Is he actually regressing? I know there's some psychologists who watch this channel. So is that a thing? When narcissists are cornered, we know they'll flail and fight. Do they also regress? Is this part of a clinical spectrum of issues with the Teflon Don? So I'm going to do a Celtic cross on this. Let's see, is Trump actually regressing? Because really, I think he started off with a mental age of about 14. He's now looking at about an 8 to 10-year-old. This is not good. So, yes. Right, what's in the centre of his reading, which will go on to be a Celtic cross? Okay, he has the Five of Tides or the Five of Cups, pregnant with disappointment. Now, this is sort of nailing him in a way. He isn't good with consequence of action. He's never been responsible for anything he's done. He's already getting ready to blame the Democrats for a fall in the economy. So his disappointment is key, absolutely key. Oh, underlying in his temperament and in his situation, the Ten of Wands or the Ten of Swords, not a good card, you would have to say, viewers. So it's coming at him every which way, and the bats of hell have been unleashed. So what's acting across those two primary cards in this reading? The War card. He is at war. Well, he's at war with the media. He's at war with his staff. He's at war with Republicans who lose. He's at war with Republicans who win. He's at war. He certainly considers himself at war with Mueller. But this is how he sees it. He's hunkering down. I think it's not too much of a stretch also to say, viewers, the military are actually over him. They were suspicious of him from the start. They weren't happy with his appointment. They were trying to make do. He did promise a lot of extra funding. But you know what? They know it's actually not worth it. To get a couple of extra aircraft carriers or long-range intercontinental missiles is not actually an asset when you're dealing with an absolute, as we say in Australia, rat bag. He's a complete rat bag. I'll leave you to look that up if it's on Google. So he's at war. He's on a war footing. Underneath the root of the reading is love. Love being, in his case, self-love and the adoration of the base. You'd have to be thinking the base is getting a bit disenchanted, but maybe not. They see him as the center of their universe. So he has got the love card in there, but I strongly read it as self-love. He can't quite believe the disappointment, and he can't believe the challenges, and he's still fighting on instinct. Okay, a little bit further back, he's got the Eight of Gardens, which is the Eight of Pentacles, working on things. Now, in the Rider-Waite deck, it's the Apprentice card. I love that little joke. Working on things, but here there's more the mad scientist vibe. You know, you wouldn't want to see Donald unleashed in a laboratory of any sort. You know, would you? Really? No. What's over the lot of his reading? Oh, illusion, delusion. This is a pattern in his self-line here. You've got the self-love, you've got the disappointment, and you've got the fact he seriously believes that he deserves his riches and will keep his riches. But he is worried about it, but he believes he's going to. The card of delusion couldn't be more appropriate. Okay, coming out from him, oh, Queen of Tides, Queen of Cups. I wouldn't normally think of this as Nancy Pelosi because I think she's spikier than the Queen of Cups. It's certainly not his beloved wife, you know, who really wouldn't share a tear at the graveside. This is someone who has a greater emotional capacity, an older woman who is going to play a part of some influence. Let me know, viewers, who you think the Queen of Cups is. We often have the Queen of Pentacles, we often have the Queen of Swords, not so much the Queen of Cups. I might have a flash later in the reading. Now, intriguingly, what does he think of himself at the moment? The center of the universe, the Ten of Gardens, Ten of Pentacles, the family dynasty. Gardens are coins and pentacles, right? And he's obsessed with the dynastic money, even though he himself managed to lose the fortune he was left, even though he managed to lose. I saw in a transcript of the interview with Chris Wallace on Fox, something came up about the casinos in Atlantic City, and he said off the cuff, oh, they were very successful. No, Donald, they actually weren't. They went bankrupt. 3 casinos in Atlantic City. You ran them into the ground. An achievement in itself. So he's thinking dynastically. We're looking at the stresses here because the key question is he regressing? Now, these are his money cards. So what's acting across that? Strength, sheer animal strength and determination. Some might say, Rosie Politics often refers to Mullah as the lion coming through. Arr, arr. It could be the Mullah lion coming after him, or it could be his sheer animal instincts keeping him afloat. So the atmosphere that he's in at the moment, well, yes, Ace of Gardens, primary, Fool's Gold, being obsessed with the money cards, totally obsessed, and missing the point of everything else. As long as he makes money, the world is all right. He has such a narrow tunnel vision. So, coming out a bit further, the Ten of Wands. Oh, wow. The chessboard. Now, as we've seen just this week, we know he would be incapable of playing chess. He couldn't even name the pieces. I doubt he could play checkers. You know, he's got the concentration span of a mosquito on Valium. You know, he just hasn't got the concentration or the application for chess. But he's nonetheless part of a chess game. I think this also has a slightly militaristic feel, along with the war card. In the sense, I think the military, particularly after his criticism of McRaven, are playing him very differently now. And you would have heard too overnight that the troops, large numbers of the troops on the border, are being sent back, because now they've rolled out the barbed wire. They don't need so many troops. They're profoundly bored. I think the thing that Trump misses too, in terms of the abuse of the military, is it should cut to his base and his heartland. It should cut them off at the knees. But it doesn't. But I think who it does affect are those in the military, and the statistics are really interesting. I looked them up this week, and 46% of men in the military are Hispanic or other ethnicity, as they describe it, taking Anglo as the norm always. 46% Hispanic or African American and other ethnicities, and 54% of women. So that's who he's offending on a daily basis. All right, what can he expect very soon coming up? More fights. See all this gladiatorial stuff, you know, and pitching people against each other, except he doesn't do it intellectually because he hasn't got a brain. So it comes down to the physical. You know, this personal attacks on people are going to continue, not surprisingly. Now, final outcome in this, King of Gardens or King of Pentacles, the greedy king. All right. Now, for me, that lays the landscape for a typical day or week or month in Donald Trump's world, but it doesn't answer the actual question, is he regressing? So I'm going to get some clarifiers here. I'm going to do one on his central card of disappointment. Is he regressing? Is he regressing? Ooh. Ooh. We've got the answer, but it's going in a sort of different direction. He's a volcano ready to blow. Absolute volcano ready to erupt. And extending on from the question, because he has no adult filter, that will not be attractive. I'm going to try for a clarifier on the Queen of Tides. Queen of Tides. Oh. All right. Got it. I think this is Ivanka. His only emotional connection in the entire world, arguably, is with Ivanka. I think that's why it's an emotional card. Setting forth. And Ivanka, I didn't think of her first off. Ivanka's feeling trapped, very trapped. However, the key is in the door. Her only way out, avoiding prison and potentially reducing her husband's prison sentence from 40 years down to something more manageable like 5 or 6, is to do in her father. Oh, okay, that'd do it. That would certainly do it. Well, viewers, interesting. Sometimes the cards are very specific, other times not. So I think we can assume outside of a tarot reading that his behaviour is very juvenile. It's inexcusable for a man of the position of the United States President, and it's an eternal condemnation of the Republican Party that they have not reined this man in because they're personally too timid. Shame on them, eternal shame on them. Okay, I'll be coming back soon with more updates. Bye, guys.